If editing in CapCut right now feels way slower than it should, it's probably not a skill issue. It's something much simpler that most beginners miss. And the good news is, once you know what to look for, it's very fixable. I've been consistently creating content for about 10 years now, edited professionally for around 3, and generated my clients hundreds of thousands of views. And I struggled with this exact problem as well. Right now, you probably don't have a clear editing structure. Editing feels like it takes way too long. You're jumping between cutting, effects, audio, music, and then back to cutting. And that's completely normal when you're new, but when your focus is scattered, your efficiency drops fast. The solution to this is editing in stages. You can think about editing like constructing a house. You don't install the windows as the foundation is still being laid. That happens after the structure is in place. And in the same way, if you structure your editing into stages, you can focus on one thing at a time with laser focus, which saves you hours of unnecessary work. But instead of keeping this abstract and preachy, let me actually open CapCut and show you the first stage, because this alone has the biggest impact. So as you can see, I've already imported the A-roll here, and the first step is almost always to rough cut the A-roll. And at this stage, the goal is not perfection. We're just removing repeats, missed lines, and long silences. The easiest way to do this is by letting CapCut analyze the transcript and just automatically remove everything we don't want. Now, this is a pro feature, so if you don't have pro, I'll show you the most efficient way of doing it without a subscription as well. But if you have pro, you just press your A-roll, you go into transcript, you let it analyze everything. All right, so now it's analyzed everything, and as you can see, it's automatically removed the repeats, the pauses, and the filler words as well. So we just go here and press delete, and we already have the rough cut of the A-roll. This isn't perfect though, of course, and you're still gonna need to do a lot of polishing on this, but it can save you a lot of time. And if you don't have CapCut Pro, the fastest way to cut the A-roll is by using shortcuts instead of manually pressing the buttons. This small tip alone has saved me hours of editing, and it's insane how big of an impact it actually has. By default on CapCut, Command B makes a cut, Q deletes everything to the left of the playhead, and this is the playhead right here, the white line, and W deletes everything to the right of the playhead. So instead of doing this, where you go through the video, other agencies, and you press pause, and you press split, and you press this, and you delete it, instead of doing that manually, which takes a lot of time, you just do this. Working for other agencies, you just press Q. You can also check the audio waves down here at the bottom. And you can see that, okay, over here we have a long silence, and that's most likely me just repeating myself. So I can Command B, Q. When I first started, I didn't use shortcuts basically at all, but once I tried it, it made a huge difference because I could maintain my focus in cutting the A-roll without having to constantly click around. Also, make sure that you have track magnet turned on so the clips automatically snap in place as you cut. So this is what rough cutting the A-roll looks like. Alright, and that's the A-roll cut. This is, again, the rough cut. This is a very bad cut so far. We've just cut out everything that's obviously not supposed to be in the video. And once the rough cut is done, you go through the A-roll one more time and you polish it. And as you are polishing the cuts, so basically the timing between the cuts that you've made, you want to continuously ask yourself, does this clip add value? Does it bring the point forward, or is it just fluff? And you want to be hypercritical with yourself. So here is a great example. I basically mentioned everything I'm saying here. And after all of this time of sourcing, hiring, working with, and firing editors, in this line right here, I've sourced and hired editors from. So that's a great example of fluff, something we don't need to include in the video, so we are going to delete it. Even though I didn't mess up any lines, and even if it was a part of the script of the video, we're still going to remove it because it undeniably doesn't bring the point forward. More fluff in your video equals more B-roll, more editing, and more time wasted, and it also bores your viewers. This structure of cutting all of the obvious bad parts first and then polishing the remains cuts your edit time dramatically early because your focus doesn't shift, and it stops you from tweaking clips that won't even survive anyways. Now, not every video has the same editing stages. Your videos are probably going to differ from mine. So instead of running you through every possible stage, it makes more sense to show you how you can structure your own editing process tailored to your needs. It's really simple. Just write down the editing steps you typically utilize and place them in the order that makes the most sense for your style. A typical editing workflow might look something like this. First, we have the A-roll rough cut. Then we have the A-roll polishing. And at this point, we already have the whole foundation of the video done, basically. We want to try to make it as good as possible so we don't need to come back to the A-roll and make changes. Then we have adding B-roll. After the B-roll, you can add keyframes if it's necessary. Then here you can add the text and icons or animations, add sound effects, add music, and then finally color grading. So yeah, this is basically what a typical editing workflow might look like. One common beginner mistake I see a lot is editing icons and visuals before the A-roll is completely polished. And the issue with that is if the A-roll changes later, these edits often need to be redone because they've gotten misaligned from the A-roll positioning changing, basically. Another common mistake is adding color grading too early in the video. Unless you have a really strong computer, heavy color grading can actually make your whole project slow down and lag. So it's usually better to save the color grading for the end if you don't want to risk it. Doing this saves time because there's no context switching. There's always a clear focus and it becomes very easy to see which parts of the editing process are taking the most amount of time and might need to get fixed or optimized. Not every video needs keyframes, heavy effects, or color grading. A big part of saving time is knowing what to skip entirely. If color grading, as an example, doesn't make sense for your style, it's okay to skip it. What matters most is making the message easy to understand. My mic died in the middle of the recording.